The skyline still glitters at night. The Burj Khalifa still cuts into the clouds. The marinas still glow with yacht lights and rooftop parties. From a distance, Dubai looks exactly like the postcard you've seen 1,000 times. But if you actually walk through certain neighborhoods at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, something feels off. Lights that used to be on are off. Buildings that used to be loud are silent. Entire towers, fully built, fully finished, sit there with maybe 4 windows lit out of 100, and the locals have a name for what's happening. They're starting to call them ghost towers. 5 specific areas of Dubai are emptying out faster than anyone expected. The expats who built this city are quietly leaving, and the numbers behind it are worse than what you've been told. For years the story was simple. Dubai was the place. Zero income tax, golden visas, a skyline that doubled every 5 years, and a steady flood of expats from London, Mumbai, Moscow, Lagos, and everywhere in between. 90% of Dubai's population is foreign-born. 90. That means this city does not run on locals. It runs on imported people who come, work, spend, and stay for a few years before deciding if it's worth it. And lately, more and more of them are deciding it isn't. The rents have nearly doubled in 3 years. School fees are climbing. Groceries that used to be cheap are now European-level expensive. And the salaries, for most expats, have not moved at all. So they're packing up, quietly. No headlines, no farewell videos. Just a flight out and an apartment listed on Beirut the next morning. And the apartments that get listed are starting to pile up in 5 very specific neighborhoods. The first one nobody saw coming is International City. For over a decade, this was the entry door to Dubai. Affordable, central enough, packed with families from India, Pakistan, the Philippines, Egypt. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. You could rent a studio for 15,000 dirhams a year and actually save money. Today, that same studio is asking 40,000, sometimes 50, and the people who lived there for 10 years are not paying that. They're leaving. Walk through the China cluster after sunset, and the math hits you in the face. Whole buildings half empty, shops closed, restaurants that used to have a queue now have 1 table occupied. The landlords kept raising rents because they assumed someone richer would always show up. But the richer expats don't move to International City. They go to Dubai Marina, so the units just sit. And they keep sitting. The community that made the area alive is gone, and the community that was supposed to replace it never arrived. That's how a neighborhood dies. Not in a crash, but in a slow drain you only notice when you're standing inside it. But International City is just the warm-up, because what's happening in Discovery Gardens is even stranger. Discovery Gardens used to be the secret weapon for middle-class expats. Green, quiet, near the metro, decent prices. Couples in their 30s, young families, single professionals in mid-tier corporate jobs, this was their sweet spot. Then, in 2022, the rents started climbing. By 2024, a 1-bedroom that used to go for 50,000 dirhams a year was asking 90. And here's the part that nobody really talks about. The salaries in Dubai's mid-tier jobs, marketing, HR, junior finance, customer service, basically did not move. So, a guy earning 12,000 dirhams a month suddenly had to choose between paying rent or saving anything at all. He chose to leave. And he wasn't alone. Real estate agents in the area are now saying that turnover in Discovery Gardens has tripled compared to before the pandemic. Tenants stay 1 year, sometimes less, and then they vanish. To Lisbon, to Kuala Lumpur, to Bangkok, anywhere their salary actually buys a life. The buildings are still there, the pools are still there. But the people who gave the place its rhythm, the families having barbecues on Friday afternoons, the kids riding bikes between the towers, that texture is fading. And once that texture goes, it doesn't come back. A neighborhood without a community is just concrete with curtains. And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear what's happening on the other side of the city, in the so-called luxury zones. Jumeirah Village Circle, JVC, was sold as the next big thing. Affordable luxury, they called it. Hundreds of new towers, modern amenities, supposedly the future of Dubai for young professionals. The developers built and built and built. And then the expats started doing math. A one-bedroom in JVC now costs more than a one-bedroom in central Madrid, or central Lisbon, or honestly, parts of London. And in Madrid you get walkable streets, public services, and a culture that doesn't disappear in 45-degree heat for 4 months a year. So, the young professionals who were supposed to fill JVC started looking at the screen and asking themselves a very dangerous question. Why am I doing this? Why am I paying European prices for a place where I can't walk anywhere, where I'm 2 hours from work in traffic, where every weekend I'm trapped indoors because it's too hot to exist outside? They couldn't answer it, so they left. And JVC, which was supposed to be packed by now, has buildings where occupancy is openly being whispered at 60%, sometimes lower. Investors who bought off-plan thinking they'd flip for a profit are now stuck. The rentals don't cover the mortgage, the resale prices are softening, and the towers keep going up because the construction was already paid for. You drive through JVC at night, and it looks like a city built for a population that hasn't arrived, maybe never will. But the most uncomfortable case is the one nobody in Dubai wants to discuss publicly. And that's Business Bay. Business Bay was supposed to be the heart of the new Dubai. A second downtown, towers, canals, restaurants, the works. And on paper, it still is. But spend a few nights there, and you start noticing something weird. The short-term rental market has eaten the area alive. Half the apartments are now Airbnbs. The other half belong to investors who don't live there and don't even rent long-term. They just sit on the unit, waiting for prices to climb. So who actually lives in Business Bay full-time? Fewer and fewer people. The expats who used to call it home are moving out because they're tired of living in a building where every week new tourists with suitcases are dragging luggage through the lobby at 3 a.m. The community evaporated. Restaurants are reporting that their regulars are gone, replaced by tourists who eat once and never come back. Local gyms, dry cleaners, small businesses that depended on residents, they're closing. And once the residents leave, the area becomes purely transactional. A place to pass through, not to live in. That's not a neighborhood. That's a hotel district pretending to be a city. And the people who saw it coming got out early. The ones who didn't are now trying to sell into a market that's quietly turning against them. And then there's the fifth area, which honestly might be the strangest of all, Dubai South. Dubai South was the mega project, built around the new airport, the Expo 2020 site, billions of dirhams in infrastructure. The pitch was that this would be the city of the future. New residents, new businesses, new everything. The Expo came. The Expo went. And Dubai South is still mostly empty. Whole communities were built for populations that haven't moved in. The roads are wide, the schools are new, the shopping plazas are ready, and the residents are not there. Some buildings are at 30% occupancy. Some retail spaces have never had a tenant since the day they opened. The expats who were supposed to fill it never showed up because the location is brutal, 40 minutes minimum from anywhere people actually want to be, and the prices, for a place that's effectively in the desert, made no sense. So Dubai South sits there, pristine, functional, and almost entirely hollow, a city built before its citizens were invented. Now, if you put all 5 of these together, International City, Discovery Gardens, JVC, Business Bay, Dubai South, you start to see the pattern. It's not random, it's not bad luck. It's the same force hitting different income levels in different neighborhoods. The middle is being squeezed out. The mid-tier expat, the family on a normal salary, the young professional who came here for opportunity, that demographic is leaving. And the city was built on that demographic, not on the billionaires in the penthouses. Those are decoration. Dubai works because of the millions of people earning between 5,000 and 20,000 dirhams a month who keep the engines running. When they leave, the empty units multiply. When the empty units multiply, the rents eventually have to break. And when the rents break, the whole investor model that powered the last boom starts to crack. That's the part nobody in the official story wants to say out loud. But the apartments don't lie, the lights don't lie. You can see it from the street. The official narrative is still that Dubai is booming. New skyscrapers announced every month, headlines about luxury sales, photos of yacht parties, and all of that is true at the very top. The penthouses are still selling. The branded residences are still being snapped up by buyers from Russia and India and Europe parking money. But that is one tiny segment of the city. The rest of it, the part where actual humans live actual lives, is showing real cracks. And the people who notice first are always the ones who were already on the edge. The teacher who can't renew her lease, the marketing manager who realizes his raise didn't even cover the rent increase, the family who looks at school fees and decides their kids will be fine in Portugal. They go quietly, one by one, and then you wake up one day and walk through your old neighborhood and realize half the people you knew don't live there anymore. So if you're sitting somewhere in London, or New York, or Mumbai, watching this and thinking about making the move to Dubai because the dream still looks shiny from the outside, this is what you need to understand. The Dubai of 3 years ago is not the Dubai of today. The math has changed. The community has changed. The neighborhoods have changed. Some of them are still working, still vibrant, still worth it for the right person. But others are emptying out faster than the official story admits, and the people who knew the city best are already on flights out. The lights in the towers are going off slowly, not all at once, just one window at a time. Until one day, someone walks past and notices the building is mostly dark, and by then it's already too late to call it anything other than what it is. A ghost tower in a city that promised it would never have any. If you want to understand what's really happening in cities around the world, the shifts that are coming next, the places that are quietly breaking, and the ones that are quietly rising, subscribe. Because Dubai is just the beginning.